Let's talk all things Special Forces Season 4, Episode 3, Warzone. Now, members, y'all know I told y'all that I was watching this particular show to make fun of Kody. I have fallen in love with it. Don't know whether or not you have fallen in love with it. But, honey, this episode was a mess. Express.com. Also, y'all know Gia Juju from Real Housewives of New Jersey? Well, honey, her and one of the cast members took to social media on her podcast where her buddy that was sitting with her said that he thinks that Kody is on. Anyway, look, we'll discuss it. I'll give you the scoop verbatim. But let's talk all things Special Forces, y'all, because they really had some things that they needed to say about the Kody Brown, especially Gia. Some of it y'all may be shocked by, some of it y'all may not be. But let's talk about it, members. Let's do it. A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, to my new system that you all of y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for auntie advice. Sweet old. It's time for auntie advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for auntie advice. So, y'all, in this week's episode, Warzone of Special Forces, child, this was a messexpress.com. Now, as I said, I had it out for Kody. And that's why we have been discussing it. Okay, Ray Dilla said, Auntie, this is not members only. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me figure that out because I got to tell y'all members how Patel indicated that he believes that he believed in the podcast that Kody is on amphetamines because of the way that because of the way that he had been acting and jumping. He said this was the first time on this particular episode of Warzone. He said this was the first time this was the first time I thought he must be on amphetamines because he was racing up and down that hill. And I'm like, wait a minute, what'd he say? I was like, something, he said, this is not right. He said, I know, he said, I was like, I'm in really good shape and I'm almost positive I'm crushing it right now. And he's like zipping past me almost like a cartoon character. And I was like, something is wrong. We have got to talk about what Gia said about him and his children, how she felt like, what she felt about it. So hold on, let me go in here and take this out of this mode and go into membership because we have got to discuss the allegations and the accusations, child. Amphetamines, like, I don't know if Kody gonna go after him for saying that, but child, oh my God. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I was shocked. Let me transfer this to members only. I apologize to everybody. I apologize to everybody. Let me see if this will go to members. Okay, what is this? This is details. Okay, Ray Della, I think that we are members only now. Can you go and check and see whether or not we are members only? We should be members only. Are we members only? I'm waiting to hear from Ray Della down in the chat. She said yes. Now, to the members, I see Dot out here. I see L Joy and I see Barbara Markham and JW. Would you all like, since I started off incorrectly, for us to just go out and do this one with everybody since we started there? Or would y'all like for this to continue to be members only? I kind of feel bad. So y'all let me know if y'all want to go back out there with the general public and talk about it, y'all, with them, since we just vamoosed on them. Y'all let me know, please, and let me know quickly so I can make the adjustments. Okay. Okay. JW said whatever covers you best, Auntie. And Barbara said everybody. I haven't heard anything from Ray Della, but let me go back with everybody, okay? I should have. I have to pay attention next time. Okay, y'all. I apologize for that. Hold on. Let me see. How do I go? How do I get it back done? How do I go back to what I did? Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's see if I can go back. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So we are back. We are back for everybody, y'all. I apologize. I thought that I was members. Was members only. I was not. I was public. And two of the members spoke up in the membership and said, oh, okay, thank you. That it was fine for us to come out. So we are out here. We're going to be doing this one out here. And then after that, they will continue. I will make sure that I set them up in advance, much more in advance. So I'm not causing this kind of chaos and confusion. So anyway, hi everybody. We have been covering special forces in the membership since the episode 1. And that has been something that has just been for the membership. So I apologize for the confusion. So as I was saying, Gia Judice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey had some things that she wanted to say about Kody, and so did Patel. You all may remember who they are. If you need me to bring up their pictures on the screen, I could absolutely do that. Bring their pictures up so that y'all can see who they were. But let me talk about what the mission was for this week. Okay, let me see if I can get to my mission real quick. Hold on, y'all, because I got it. Let me get to the mission. So this mission was called Urban Casualty Evacuation. This was a rescue mission. And the recruits had to go into a simulated urban war zone, identify U.S. soldiers by the U.S. like a band that would be on their and they had to bring them out of there. Okay, they had to retrieve them and bring them safely behind enemy lines. And so that meant that and they did this as a team of three. They all went in together and they, had to go and get these casualties and stuff like that out of it. Every single person on this mission absolutely failed. Okay, so hold on. Let me bring this up real quick. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. One of the things that I be having a problem about this particular show is that these people are going in and doing these hard, and I mean, when I say hard, I'm talking about hard um feats, and they don't have any training. I could see if they gave them training or something like that, and then when they fail, they fail. But they are going in here and they have absolutely no pre-knowledge of what they're supposed to be doing. So anyway, the teams went in order to get these people out, and each one of them failed. Hold on for 1 second. Let me see if I can. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, because I want to give y'all more details than what I wrote down. I don't know why I didn't write that down, but I didn't. I'm asking ChatGPT to give me the teams. Let me see if they can give me the teams. I noticed one thing about ChatGPT. If you don't tell it all the way what to do, it won't do nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Next time I'll write that down. Yes. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm coming. Anyway, they all went in and they did not do good. But Gia, Kody, and I can't think, I want to say her name was Padilla. They were all on the same team. Kody dropped the body, was standing there telling them what to do, all this kind of stuff. When they went in, the athlete, I can't think of his name. Hold on, let me get his name. Nick Young, who is from the NBA, right? He kept saying his hands was hurting. The last team that went in, I think it was Patel and a couple of other people. They did it, but they left their a package with them, right? You know, they left their like little war package and stuff. And so they was like, okay, so now your package that you had is in enemy hands. But Kody was so busy trying to be the boss of these two women, right? He couldn't even think about doing anything different, right? And the girl Brianna, Lapagli, is a content creator, right? I think that she is a TikToker. She was in a relationship with a country singer. Let me find out who that name was, because we're going to talk about it tonight. I got time, y'all. And I ain't looking at 90 Day Fiance. Okay, who was Brianna, Lapaglia? She was in a relationship with Zach Bryan. They said she was in a relationship with Zach Bryan nearly a year after he announced their breakup in People's exclusive first look on Special Forces. So they bringing that back. I don't want to talk about, okay. So she indicated that she was in this relationship with this guy, Bryan, Zach Bryan, and he asked her to sign an NDA and offer her $12 million and a New York apartment to not talk about their relationship. So she was sitting in there and she was talking. They were introducing themselves because Kody has been laying back. The only person that it appears that Kody knew anything about was Jussie Smollett. Okay, y'all remember Jussie Smollett? He was the one that was on Cookie, on Cookie and on Fox. I can't remember the name of the show, but y'all remember. He was on that show and he had made allegations that he had gotten beat up, okay, by some MAGA people, lying his off, okay, in front of the country allegedly. He claims that he did not lie, okay, but okay, according to all of the stuff that Empire, thank you, JW. Yes, he was on Empire. Thank you, Olivia. Thank y'all. Okay, so she's in there. So Kody says, "What do you do?" Right? He asked her, "What do you do?" And she said, "I'm a content creator." And he basically was like, "Oh, that's all." Does he know how much money content creators who are doing this full time are making? He said, "Oh, that's all basically that's all you do. That's all you worth. You just a content creator." Now, I'm sure that the reason why Kody feels like this, right, is because he and his wives have been dragged through the mud. Okay, and some of them not so much, but at least him and Robin, his sexy, shy, cute wife, they've been dragged through the mud. So I'm sure that he has maybe a love-hate relationship with content creators. But this girl obviously was making a lot of money. She said that she had slid into Zach Bryan's Instagram DM. She said, usually like everybody else does. And I'm thinking, I ain't slid in nobody's DMs about nothing. Anyway, y'all, I digress. So he don't have that much respect for her anyway. But he's been sitting back and laying back and looking at everybody, right? Jussie Smollett last week, of course, you all know he had to end up going into that little dark room with the men in the room. And he is there to try to give himself a second chance. He is wishing that America would give him a second chance and all that kind of stuff, right? So they all have their particular reasons why they're why they're there. And when they do something in a mission, if all of the staff, what they call staff, see something, they bring them into this room. They put like a little black, hoodie over their head and bring them to this undisclosed location, talk to them, find out what's going on with them, give them words of encouragement and all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm giving you all this background because y'all haven't been in the membership and y'all don't know, how we've been discussing it, but it looks like quite a bit of y'all have been looking at it. So I'm very, very happy to see that. So anyway, so they go through this little thing. They don't make it. It is what it is. They go back to the barracks and they're like, okay, we need to bring in this girl. So they bring her in, right? They bring Brianna in and they put the hood over her head. They bring her in and they ask her about what was going on, why she wasn't doing, great with the mission and stuff like that. And she was just talking about the relationship that she was in. She said it was very, very public. And she really wants to get past that relationship. And then she had told them that, he had offered her the $12.9 million to, keep the relationship a hush hush and the breakup and stuff hush hush. She said that the premise of her channel or whatever it was to talk to women, right? I don't know this girl from a bucket of paint. I haven't even looked her up, okay? But y'all let me know. So she said that the premise of her content was to help young ladies not get in bad relationships and stuff like that, but that's what she found herself in. So hold on, let me see if I could get so in an overview, it says Zach, Bryan, and Brianna Chicken Fry, I guess that must be the name of her channel, broke up due to a combination of factors that escalated into public accusations. Brianna claimed that Bryan was emotionally abusive, controlling, and had cheated on her, which she discovered through the Raya dating app. She also stated that Bryan asked her to sign a $12 million NDA to keep their relationship private, an offer she refused. Bryan has not publicly addressed the specific allegations, but confirmed the breakup, citing a really hard year for himself. Okay. And so People magazine thought enough back in July. Hold on, let's see. This article is dated. I'll put it in the hold on. I'll make sure I put it in the description box, y'all, so y'all can go and read it. But she is there to, really redeem herself and change her life and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so Wendy said 12 minutes, you can break up with me all day, every day. Okay, I would have took it. But then again, it probably would have been used against her. And if she's really trying to protect her integrity and all that kind of stuff, she don't want it. Anyway, so, they tell her, reinvent yourself. Basically, you here, you strong, you do what you do. Now, as we all know, last week, Teresa Giudice ended up leaving GIA. GIA had been in there, right? Covering for Teresa, giving her mother support, especially in the last exercise that they did when they had to go underwater, be submerged into water, hold their breath for 20 minutes, and then get out of this vessel. Of course, we all saw when Teresa was going down, she started panicking in a vessel. And if it wasn't for Gia, they would have had to send down some scuba divers, okay, to go and get Teresa, because Teresa said that one thing about her is that when it comes down to pools, right, she wants to sit around them and be cute, but she don't want to be caught up in the water because water makes her feel panic. And so they was trying to challenge both Teresa and Gia about, the relationship and everything. Gia had already talked about the fact that she at a young age, I think she said 13 years old, both her mother and her father went away to prison. She said Teresa went away for 11 months and that, she had to step up and do the Christmas parties, birthdays, take them to school. She had to do all of that kind of stuff, right? So Gia was like, I had a hard knock life and I've always, basically I had to step up from being a child, a 13-year-old child, and become a mother and a father to the kids, right? While the two of them served prison time, I believe it was for tax evasion. And so, they had always been trying to work together, even though they was on separate teams, and they had already chastised them and was like, you can't be working together, right? Because y'all not on the same damn team. So anyway, when they were about to do the physical combat where they had to fight the other person, right? The person on another team, Teresa quit and said that she did not want to see Gia fighting. And of course, they were mad and I was mad because I felt like here's Teresa abandoning her baby, right? Your baby needs you, Gia, getting ready to fight this grown woman, and you going to roll out on Gia like that? But that's what Teresa decided to do because she said that she could not watch Gia do hand to hand combat without feeling like she needed to get in it. Trust and believe me, would nobody let you get in it, Teresa? But it was a cop out. It was a way that Teresa wanted to go because remember in that combat when they even was going up the stairs, Teresa was acting like she could not make it anymore. I think she used Gia, right, and use that particular situation as an excuse, a reason, if you will, to get up out of it, out of the exercise and everything. And Gia was crying and she was upset. But then she ended up going and talking to the staff, and the staff was like, you may not ever admit this, Gia, but you happy your mother gone because your mother been a burden to your ass since you've been here. And she was. Teresa was. Gia was always, come on, mom, you can do this, getting in trouble with staff, right? And I'm just like, it just doesn't make any sense how Teresa has, called, all her Miss Judice, Miss all this and all of that, right? You depend more on your child than your child depends on you. It's very unfortunate that how that family dynamic got destroyed by Teresa because Gia has said that, her father did not, Joe Judice, had not filed taxes in 10 years. The, like, how can he not file taxes in 10 years? I always was confused about that because this mofo had businesses. So you could just like not file your business taxes for 10 years? Anyway. So that was a mess, right? So the next thing they have to, they go back to the barracks and stuff like that. That's when Brianna gets called back, and then they got their next tag. The next task that they had to do was do this ladder thing, right? It was called ladder rooftop crossing. And so they had ladders in between these different buildings. And they had to go across, they had to go from one building to the other building, elevated and hoisted up in the air. Now, of course, they had, a harness and all of that kind of stuff on them and the cord in order to successfully, make sure that they don't hurt themselves should they fall off the ladder, right? And I can't remember right now what you call it, but that's what they had. Let me see. Uh Now in the urban assault, they were being shot at and all everything. Same thing with this particular one. When they were going up the building, they all came to the task. They didn't know what the task was. All they know was they were dropped off at a building, and all of a sudden you start hearing gunfire. So they are running up these stairs and everything. Y'all, I could not do this. I swear, I wouldn't have the wind to do nothing. So they have to go up these stairs and everything. They are running. They like feel like they in full combat. Now, one of the things that I did not discuss was Jussie Smollett. So Jussie Smollett was in the first war zone. He was in the first exercise, and all of a sudden he started coughing. He could not cough. You could tell he was wheezing. He was having labor breathing and all that kind of stuff, right? And so when they got, Jussie back to the barracks, Jussie was like, I feel like I'm a vomit, right? He just kept saying that he, wasn't feeling well, nickname Patrick, give a dog a bone. And he just could not stop coughing. And of course, he just simply was not feeling well. So they were like, okay, let's find out, what's going on. Go down to the medic. Now, Jesse, because of the public embarrassment and all of that stuff that he went through, he was determined that he was going to finish that course because they all are supposed to be getting something out of this too. So Jesse goes down to the medic. They examine him and they like, nah, young, you got inflammation. It appears, to them that Jesse was having an allergic reaction to the sand and the dirt that was out there. Can you imagine being in the real military and you are allergic to the sand and the dust and you can't get out? Luckily, this is a show, because if you was in the military, I don't know what they would do, whether or not that's an honorable discharge, dishonorable discharge, or whether or not they just make you stay up in them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But Jesse's lungs was compromised. And the medic was like, checking him and everything. And Jesse kept telling himself, get yourself together, stay together, right? Because of course he's in a panic stricken, state of mind. So the other guys come in, the other staff come in, and they're like, Jesse, we know that you really wanted to fight this, but the medic says, no, you gotta go home. You got an infection in your lungs, and you cannot finish the course. And Jesse was devastated. And one of the things that the staff guys did say about Jesse is that he wasn't finished, right? They wanted him to continue on, and he wanted to continue on himself. So anyway, they at the ladder, right? And they got to cross this ladder. Everything that they do is in teams of 3. So even though you may pass a mission, get your on the ladder, go from one building, hoist it up in the air, suspend it in the air with just a bungee cord on you, and go to another part. You cannot touch the ladder. You have to successfully get across. You ain't never did this in your life. You ain't had no training, no nothing. You just got to go across this piece of a ladder. Whether you afraid of heights like me or no, you have to finish this course because you have 2 other people on your team hoping that you finish this. So the very first person who's going across the ladder is Kody Brown. Now, it's Kody Brown, Bria, GIA. Was it Kody Brown and GIA? No, it was not. It was Kody, Brianna, and GIA. They went across. Kody passed. Brianna passed. Eric Decker, GIA, and Johnny Manziel, they all passed. When Kody was coming across there, they was like, come on across here. Ain't one of your wives over here, right? Kody so far has been staying under the radar. He been staying like a month under the radar. He ain't been letting nobody see him sweat or nothing. I'm just like, okay. So Christine Pierce, who is a soccer player, she failed. And Nick Young failed. But Nick Young been going through some stuff, and he's been making like all of these little jokes. And they like, we ain't got time for the jokes. So when he goes on a ladder, he's automatically scared. Now, mind you, when he did the war zone, he kept saying his hands was hurting. So he made a joke going over there about, whether or not he was going to be successful was dependent upon his hands. Well, this ladder had nothing to do with his hands, but he had fear heights. And the soccer player, she just was too cocky. She was way too cocky. But anyway, did they say Patel? Did Patel passed, didn't he? Yeah, Patel passed. So anyway, he's trying to go across it. He's scared. He's making all these jokes. I want to quit. The guy's staff was like, look, stop playing. Get your ass across here. So of course, by him playing, having his fear and everything, he puts his hands on the ladder and dog walks to the next building, and they was like, you feel. He said, you let your fear take over you. So they call him in later on, and they have a discussion with him about, making all these jokes because they believe that he is not taking this seriously, right? That he is not trying to change his life. And at this point, he breaks down and he lets them know that when he was a young boy, that he had an older brother. They had already pulled up an article, because that is one of the things that they do. They pull up an article or some kind of information on you to see what has happened in your life and why you are determined to finish this course. What is going through this program going to do for you for the rest of your life? How's it going to benefit you in any way? So he goes across, he talks to them, and he breaks down, and he basically says that he uses humor because when he was young, his brother had passed away, and that his mother and his father were grieving over him, specifically his mom. And he said that he believed that it was his job to keep his mother happy. And so he used humor to try to keep his mother happy. He said that, that was one of the things that motivated him to go into the NBA, because this was something he could do. And this was a way of keeping his family happy. But he now realizes that he is using the humor, right, as a defense mechanism and as a way for him to kind of, you know what I'm saying, not get serious about things or whatever, right? He says that he said that he has some emotional issues, and including his brother. And he said when he went into the NBA, he felt the spirit of his brother rooting for him and helping him to be successful. So anyway, after they, do all of this, of course, y'all know we're going into another episode. And then I get a little buzzy, right, that says, hey, you need to go and look at Gia Judice's podcast, where she did an interview with Patel. And so I was like, oh, okay, let me roll on up, let me skip to the Lou My Darling through YouTube and go and find her podcast. So I went over there to her podcast, and child, they was talking. So let me bring up my notes on that. Wait a minute. I got so many mechanisms. Are y'all enjoying this? I sure hope y'all are. I sure hope y'all are enjoying this. Hold on, y'all. So as I said, Patel um said that he was in really good shape. He and Gia was talking about the course. He said he was in really good shape, but that's what he said. This was the first time he said that this was the first time he thought that Kody must be on amphetamines, because he was racing up and down that hill. And I'm like, this is not right. I'm in good shape and I'm having a hard time, but Kody is crushing this. I think that there is something wrong. Now, Gia didn't want to go there. Gia did not want to go down that path with Patel at all. And I don't blame her, because so Kody is an older guy, right? Patel, I guess, is younger than Kody or whatever. Wait a minute. So he said, this guy, he said, I'm crushing it right now. And I'm like he's zipping by me almost like a cartoon. And I was like, something wrong. This guy just do math. That's the only way this could be happening. You don't say that about people. Now, I don't know if he was kidding or what he was doing, but I was like, why would you say that, right? He asked Gia, he said, Gia, did you see him on that mountain? It was unlike anything I've ever seen. And he said, the guy deserves a gold medal. So Gia started talking about the fact that Kody told her that he had started training. Now, in the program, right, when we look at the show, Kody says that he had 4 wives. When they was teasing him this episode, or they took a shot at him this episode, Kody told him he had 4 wives, he now has one. And he wants to impress her with everything he do. So Gia started talking about the fact that Kody told her that he would go up to the mountains at a very high elevation and stay in the mountains, climbing them, just like doing all kinds of stuff in the mountain. And when he did not get the opportunity to go to the mountains, that he would go to the gym and work out straight cardio for over 2 hours. Because he was determined that he was going to do what he had to do. Now, Gia went on to talk about Kody being a great guy, which I was shocked. She said the only problem with Kody is that she feels like Kody is missing being a father because he wants to father everybody. She said that he is one of the most caring cast members, that he wants to look out and take care of people, but he has that fatherly stance over them. Okay, thank you, Wendy. That's good information because I don't know nothing about him. She says that she thinks that. So the guy, Patel, said that he was wildly impressed by Kody. He says that he thinks that he is one of the most interesting cast members there. Hey, D-Man. He feels like Kody, and he told Gia that she needed to interview Kody because he's so interesting. Now, Gia said, ain't nobody know who Kody was. Now, y'all know that Kody think he the king of all kings. But Gia was like, ain't nobody, Patel, none of them knew who Kody was. They all had their little roles and stuff, Gia being on 90 Day, on Real Housewives since she was basically a baby. Okay. Do y'all remember the song she was singing? Anyway. So they know who Kody was. We're not impressed with him at all. But Kody, Gia, it got an opportunity to get to know Kody. She said one thing that she can say about Kody is that he is not a team player. She said Kody ain't no team player. And that's a faux show. But she said that she believes that he misses being a father. She had mentioned that he doesn't have any of his kids there but one, but Kody actually has 2 kids there. Or 2 biological kids. She said that I believe that a lot of Kody's character that we see on Special Forces is as a result of his childhood. She said he honestly seemed very caring and he looked out for most of them when he could. She said there were certain points where I felt like, she said, because I was partnered with him at some of the times, okay? She said that, hold on, y'all. She said he faces a lot of controversies, and she feels like in some of the challenge, because he was so physically fit, he really was probably one of the most physically fit people there. She said, but she feels like there were some things that Kody went through in his childhood that makes him the way that he is. Then she was saying, she said he really helped out the girls. He helped a lot of us power through our struggles. And she said, and at some points, I realized that maybe he wasn't the best team player, but he tried. And she said, that he was very eccentric. They both say he was eccentric, right? And they said, but Gia said, but my experience with him was different. She said, I think for many other people, maybe just because I wasn't sleeping on the same side of the tent as him. She said, but I found him to I found myself liking his personality. She said he's very earnest to please. She said he is so earnest to please that he is almost like a 12-year-old boy. She said he was like, they said that he was like a 12-year-old boy. That is how much Kody wants to please. She said he's like a little kid who's excited to be there and is kind of always saying what he's thinking in his head out loud. He doesn't even realize, and we have seen that on Sister Wives, that Kody will say something and not even think about the effect or effect that he is having on other people. He just says what he is thinking. No, he did not get put out of special forces. We're talking special forces. Okay, baby. She said that he is always giving everyone unsolicited tips and advice on what needs to happen. But really, it means, she says, I think he rubbed people and they don't fuck with him. She said she didn't have a beef with him and she wasn't tight with him, right? And so did the guy, right? She said that Bree got annoyed with him because of the thing that they went through. She said, but he's not a team player. She said he wasn't being the best team player because he felt like he knew and he could do it all. She said, but she noticed that she said he would come out. She said, wait a minute. She said during the challenge, we were kind of holding back a little bit from Kody. She said, so I think in certain situations I saw where he will come out, it will come off to the viewers, right? That he was kind of missing something. She said, but to me, it was like he was missing the father role. And she said she thinks that Kody struggles with that because he doesn't really know where his kids are. She said, I think he only lives with the one kid. He doesn't. He lives with his biological kids, two of his biological kids, and Robin's kids. But Bree, but she already said, Gia or had already said she did not know him. Okay. She said, but you could tell that he missed that father role. And he's always out there looking for someone to look after. Y'all, isn't that a mother for you? Here this, they got what, 18, 25 kids? And instead of Kody connecting back to his children, he out here on special forces. fathering adults. Oh, you welcome, Nikki. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm glad y'all decided to come back. This is something that I do with the members. This is one of those shows. You know, members have perks, right? But I'm so sorry that of the confusion. But the members said, "Auntie, go hit on back out. You'll see." Okay, I did ask them. Barbara said, Wendy, interesting about Kody's dad. Deirdre said, yeah, I heard that, but when she switched over, I couldn't comment. I thought I should leave, but I'm back. Thank you for coming back, Deirdre. Thank you. Raydella said, Auntie changed it back to open. I'm sorry, y'all. This is one of the shows that I cover in the membership. And so she said that, you know, she looked for somebody, he's always looking for somebody to look after. So he did really have great things about him. And then she said, obviously, I think that you can see his struggles, which just come from the way that he grew up and how he was raised. And I think that he did a good job. I think that his people skills and his emotional intelligence are probably not where they need to be. And I was like, you right about that. Now, Gia being that young to assess that from Kody, that Gia said that his emotional intelligence and stuff is just not there. It ain't where it's supposed to be. That's word. Especially for her not to even have known who Kody was. They started getting information later on. She said that her mother and Jesse Smollett, you know, had started getting information about who the cast members were because they didn't even know who the cast members were. And so, you under the sofa all this time? Tyler been under the sofa all this time. Um, She said that Gia said he also strikes her as a guy who's going through a lot and tries to make it appear that he's not. She said it is a beautiful case. Child, this Gia. Gia says she thinks that this is a beautiful case of one person trying to reinvent and invent themselves. What do y'all think? We should be getting an episode of Sister Wives. I will be doing Seeking Sister Wives tomorrow. I probably need to put a calendar out, but it seems like every time I put a calendar out of the shows that I cover, I fail to cover them. And I do want to again thank you all so much for all the grace that you have given to me, for being late on reviews, not completing reviews. I swear, well, now I can't be swaying because I only well, forgive me for that. But I promise you that I am absolutely getting back in stride again to bring y'all the reviews in a more timely basis. I just had a lot going on, and I know that I kept saying got a lot going on, but I think I did disclose some of the stuff that I've been, you know, dealing with. So I thank you. But she said that his emotional intelligence, mm-mm. Gia also said that she saw Kody through a rosier lens than everyone else. Oh, thank you, GW, JW. Thank you, JW. I appreciate y'all. And I'll keep doing it as long as y'all keep coming back. But I thought it was very interesting that the one guy, you know, she kind of had to talk Patel down. She really had to let him know without correcting him that, to make an accusation about that, that's a pretty strong accusation. She basically broke it down and told him, look, let me tell you one thing, buddy. Okay? Let me tell you one thing. I saw Kody from a different lens. Now, I ain't saying that I'm a like Kody, because I think that the way that he handles women, or the way that he handled Gia and Brianna in this thing, I just was like, like she said, Brianna don't bunk with him. She was very angry with Kody, right? Because they missed the mission, because Kody would drop the body and then be telling them, pick him up, pick him up, pick him up. Like, hold him up. Hold him up. That's what you do. You're the only man. You wanted to be in the front. Carry the body, Kody. But when they came up out of there, because Kody knew everything, they missed one of the casualties. Each mission had 2 casualties, 2 people they were supposed to bring up out of there. And they didn't bring these 2 people out. Why? Because Kody knew everything. So, and then I wonder too whether or not Gia gave Kody this grace because of her relationship with her daddy and her relationship with her Uncle Joe. Right, Teresa, Judice, and then Judice, and then Joe, and Melissa. And I wonder if this is the reason why Gia is giving the grace that she is giving to him. Hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on. And they said that Kody, basically was talking about. They said that it was at one point where Kody was doing warm-ups on doing a handstand. He like a beast out there. He said that he had climbed and hiked mountains at a high elevation, so that he would be ready for this show. It seems like Kody had done a lot, right? Wait a minute, hold on, y'all. It seems like Kody had done a lot to prepare himself for being out here, because he was saying he really wanted to impress Robin. Wendy Front Yard said Kody is used to soft-spoken women who praised him for almost 3 decades. Absolutely. JW said, I think the things she went through with her day gave her a softer viewpoint. JW, you wrapped that up for me, baby. Thank you, baby. You said that, okay? You said that. Barbara said, we know, Auntie, how much you do. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you. Love you, boo. I really do believe that. I really do believe that. Okay. Deirdre said Rosier. Okay. But I do truly believe that is because of what she went through with her father and her uncle, that, she sees, things a little different. But anyway, y'all, this is my review of Special Forces cast members. I think I'm gonna change it since y'all came out with me. I do appreciate y'all being here, and if this is something y'all, okay. So here's what's going on. I'm having problems seeing comments in YouTube. If you want to tell me whether or not this is something y'all think I should be doing on the outside and not with the members, and pick something else with the members, y'all let me know on my Instagram DM, because YouTube is still trying to search and find out why I'm not seeing my comments. So I say, y'all put comments in it, and then I go back. It's supposed to be fixed. It ain't fixed. So until they fix it, hit me up on Instagram, okay? Tamika, yeah. I made a mistake and came out live, but maybe it was purpose for me to come out live for this particular show. But anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. I'm sorry it's late. Tomorrow we'll have to wait till tomorrow really to do Sister Wives. You know what? I'll wait. I'll wait and do Seeking Sister Wives because that mess was a mess. And I'm gonna do it tonight. I'll be back, y'all. Give me a few minutes, okay? I love y'all. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all thought about this. And until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets and in the water. Bye, y'all.